What is up? It is me. It is I. I am the greatest there is, the greatest there was, and the greatest there ever will be. I am greatness personified. Myself. Yes, yes, Stoney greatness. And I am here with the man of the hour, the myth, the legend, the activist, the author, the conqueror, the educator.
For shits and giggles, the porn star.
Yes. Yes.
I'll explain that later.
The innovator. All right. The generator of all types of feels.
The Terminator.
Yeah. So show some respect. Bend the knee. Because they come from all across the world to see the man who wears the crown that hangs 2 inches from the ground. Mm-hmm. Yes, he's your king. He's my king. He is King Kevyn.
And thank you. What's up, everybody? Thank y'all so much for tuning in to another episode of the GreatMines Show. I'm kind of pumped up for today's episode. One, because last week we didn't come to you guys live. One, because Stoney felt like the episode that we would have been reviewing was a waste of time. Two, last week was Stoney's birthday. So I wanted to take a moment on camera to wish my bro a happy birthday. He's turning 41 this year.
Oh!
He's turning 41 this year, and I love you for all of the years that you've been around.
41 not. No offense to anybody that is 41. All right. I am not there yet. He just wants me to be close to him in age. So, younger than him.
No, but happy birthday.
Less younger than what I am. Yeah. But I'm not. So thank you though. Thank you very much to everyone out there who watches and definitely wish me a happy birthday. I really appreciate it. It was great. Better Half Greatness and Princess Greatness and everybody was down in Florida. Had a nice time, but yeah, it was great. Glad to be back. To be back with my bro here. Speaking with all of you and everything, ready for another trip. So
yeah, and I want to definitely get into season 15. This is episode 15, and that's the episode of the Reunited. And I knew that this was going to happen. Got on here.
Yep.
But so this episode was just all of the girls getting back together, and just discussing highlights of the show. In no particular order. That's sort of what Stoney and I are going to do. We're going to break down our thoughts about the girls, those highlighted moments.
Yeah, that we're going to give our thoughts on the season, and really, dive into, the final four. We're going to give our predictions and everything.
I do want to grab my notebook and look back at, the lineup from the beginning that I had. Because, we had our notes.
Yeah.
About, and I have to say, for the majority of the show, I have predicted each girl that went home.
Yeah.
Almost. The only one I did not predict was Marsha.
Right.
Everybody else in order. And even once Marsha got eliminated, I recalibrated. And, literally, they were just flying the way I kind of expected them to.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I may have been on to something. So, we're going to... I might give a new prediction at the end of the show.
Yeah.
About who I think will end up in the top 2.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it might be pretty obvious. And that's
but and if you've been paying attention, there have been some spoilers out there, that kind of let us know what the top 2 are, but hey, who knows, because they shoot different endings,
right?
Just in case.
Wouldn't it be messed up if you were listed to be the winner, but because of a spoiler or a leak, they switched it up on you, and now you're not, just because of that reason?
I think that's what they did to Trinity.
Yeah, it was
Hence
actually.
why it was split. So, you know.
Yeah. So, before we get into that, I've had an interesting day. I received a message, and then another message, and then a few more messages from someone on Jack. And
well, for those of our audience, for those folks in our audience who are not familiar with Jacked, it's not anything crazy. It's actually a dating app or a hookup app, honestly.
So, since you're talking about the app in itself,
more geared towards the LGBT folks. Here in America, it's very, I would say, urban centric.
Yeah.
Actually,
I think that's state to state. I think because certain states, Grindr,
right,
is urban, and certain other areas.
Yeah, I have a friend who is over in Europe, in particular, like England, and Jacked over there is very much Asian.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
Like so, yeah. So like it here in this, I would say here in the States, it's more POC centric. People of color centric. But yeah, more so than Grindr, even though Grindr is very diverse now.
They're working on it.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue with any of these dating apps or sites is the purpose of them and how people perceive its purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are people on there who say, I'm not looking to hook up.
Right.
I'm here to make friends. Some people say I'm networking. Some people say I just want conversation and entertainment. And then there's those people who say this is a hookup site. It's only for us to link up and do our thing.
Right.
And that's the only reason why it's there. So there's this misconception as to which you should or shouldn't be doing on this app. I feel that it is to you what you need it to be, but don't be upset if someone else doesn't use it that way.
Yes. Now, I also think that people need to understand, and not a lot of folks know exactly how the apps work because they only perceive it based off of their interaction with the apps. They don't take into account the experience that somebody else could. And what I mean by that is that there have been studies on these apps that when it comes to, when it comes to interaction, folks who are beautiful get more messages than the folks who aren't as beautiful, okay, or who's regular looking, or and it's a ratio of like 80% of the people on there are going after the same 5%, the same 5% of users. So you have to figure if 80% of the people, right, are messaging the people that are, considered in the 5% of the most, attractive people, that's a lot of people messaging a small amount of people.
Right.
Okay. So I think that you have to take that into consideration when you are messaging someone who you find to be very, very attractive. You are not the only person who finds that person to be very, very attractive. Okay, there has to be at least 30 to 50 other people on the app at the exact same time that you are on the app, looking at that profile, thinking the same exact thing, and are going to message that person. So even though you may log in and see that you only have like 5 or 6 messages, that's for you.
Right.
That person that you message may have 40.
And also don't assume that just because somebody's profile looks like this online that they're paying attention to their profile.
Yes, these apps are misleading to where they don't necessarily log you out until a certain period of time of inactivity, or make you look offline until there's a certain time of inactivity.
Unless like you purposely, like I know in Jack you can set your setting to offline.
Mm-hmm.
Like unless you purposely do that, but it's just like, why am I doing all this? Why do I care that much? Because like some people, I guess, they spend all day on the app looking for a hookup or connections or
and
whatever
they
it
expect
is.
everyone to respond all the time and be available like they're available, because if I'm on the app and you're on the app, then why aren't you talking? And that's not the case with everyone.
So yeah, I just wanted to vent my grievance because there's certain things that I just feel like it's very toxic. It's very it displays a form of illness or hints of illnesses, in my opinion, because people live in these delusions of who they want people to be, and when you're not that person, it gets me how I get hit up all the time. People want to hook up with me, and when I turn, oh, you're just that little thing porn star, or you or this or and it's like, but you just hit me up. I didn't hit you up.
Right.
Also, your insults does not affect me.
Right.
Like porn star, I know this is my career. Why would I be upset about you acknowledging my career? Like, do I go around saying teacher? Oh, you're a trash pickup person, a sanitation worker. Like, why do people do that?
Retail worker.
I think that is so weird that people do that. Like, why do y'all have to tell me what my job is? Like, I don't know what I do. Like, I have some type of complex about the work that I do, and they try to use it like it's a weapon against me. But I'm like, okay, so you know who I am because I don't know you, so that means I did a good job.
Yes. And that is, and I saw these messages, and the person really got in their feelings because it just wasn't available to answer, and that happens.
I think the funny part is when he started throwing out things, talking about my circle of friends, talking about morality, talking, and it's like when
he
you
even brought me into it.
When you talk about like your my profession, and he realized that didn't bother me. That's when he started like trying to say, being condescending and things like that. But it's like, you want my attention that bad,
right?
You want a rise. I don't understand people who are toxic like that, who just wants a rise out of people for the hell of it. But anyway, I'm just saying all that to say, have fun, because that stuff is entertaining to me.
Yes, and that's the thing, people. Don't get on these apps and, for one thing, expect a person to respond to you, because just like in regular life, I don't have to speak to you on the street. I don't have to open my door if you come knock on it.
Right.
I don't have to respond to you on insert hookup or dating app or site here. I don't have to.
If I'm at a club,
no
and you
one
speak
does.
to me, I don't have. And see, that's the thing. I'm a very courteous person. I'm very polite. So if you're out and I'm out and you speak to me, I'm going to speak back. Now, depending on how respectful that greeting is, I might sit and have a whole conversation with you.
Right.
But if I don't feel comfortable, or I don't feel like this is a situation I want to engage, whether I'm comfortable or not, that is my choice. And that's something that you just got to deal with. Eat that. Because guess what? This situation is the way I've approached people, and they were not interested in the conversation. And guess what? That's their right.
Yeah. You can't get mad at people who aren't interested in you. You just got to move on. And that's the thing with, rejection.
And I get that.
The fact that, and yes, yes, it is hard to accept rejection, but rejection is a part of life. Like,
it can learn you something.
It is what it is, so you can either learn from it, move on, or get in your feelings and and waste energy, because that person wasted a whole lot of energy for nothing, because at the end of the day, all he had to do was just say all right and move on to the next message.
Exactly.
Move on to the next profile. There really isn't, like, there's no reason for it. I mean, when I was on the dating apps, I get rejected all the time. Like, all the time.
So
I'm not in my feelings about it.
Back to the rejection thing, because again, no one likes rejection. I know I hate rejection, but again, it's a part of life. And if you don't approach or pursue life based off of the times you've been rejected, then you're losing out on so much greatness that you could be experiencing, but you're hung up on the one rejection. And I'm not saying that you don't have a right to feel a way about it, but not to be latched onto that like it needs to define your life or how you interact with people.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, and I think that is I think the biggest thing here is that people, you gotta learn how to accept rejection. You gotta learn how to deal with it. And then you gotta think, live in reality and understand reality. Like, you know, he's gonna have like 8 billion messages in his whether or not
I showed you
he's a porn
before,
star or not.
right?
Look at the man. He's
Not
gonna
even
have
that.
8 billion messages.
Because
Okay.
there are people that are popular who aren't necessarily attractive, and they're just their popularity alone. People feel, and then like when you see them on social media or you see them on TV, and you start to feel like you know this person when
Yeah,
you really don't.
like the boy with the, this boy, and he be having all the braids and stuff like that, and he be cussing people out.
I don't know what were you talking about.
The boy with the crooked back.
Oh God!
And he be all like,
"That's a perfect example," but oh God, don't do that! Don't do that!
What?
That's ableist.
Is it?
Yes,
I'm just
fun
describing. I'm not trying to make fun of him. I'm
just mocking them. Don't
I'm
do
not
that.
mocking.
It could come off that way.
Well, I'm not mocking. There.
Jeez, ooh, he's gorgeous.
Oh, okay, yeah, him. Yes,
He's
I thought.
Gorgeous. That's not why I got on here though. What?
I thought you were talking about what's
no.
Yeah, I was like,
no. But to my point, when a person has a certain level of popularity and you kind of like attach to their persona on social media, people feel like they know them,
right?
And then you may have an opportunity to interact with them, and then it's like, I don't know. It's like they say, don't ever meet your heroes because it'll let you down. Because like people are put on pedestals all the time. I'm not that person.
No.
And that's not my responsibility neither, because my work speaks for itself. And when I say my work, I'm not even talking about the adult entertainment. I'm talking about what I've given to the world.
Oh yeah.
So
all those accolades at the beginning, I'm not spitting out words. Okay, they're all applicable. Okay, all of those are applicable.
But then I also realized that in certain conversations, specifically that particular one, when you try to educate people, they don't want to open their eyes to see past what the accusations, because his accusations was that I was just the porn star, and that it was like some type of immoral, deplorable thing that I should be ashamed of.
Right.
And like I wasn't giving him that energy. I'm gonna move on because now that tobacco hitting me in my head right now.
No, goodness. So yeah, and then just to you know what I mean, because you brought the circle in, talking about got the people of quality in the circle.
Oh, that was the part.
Now, let me let you know something, okay? I am greatness personified, okay?
Itself.
That is all the circle that anybody would ever need to begin with, all right? But in addition to me, he has a bunch of other folks who are all great,
different types of walks of life,
all experts in their particular fields, all right?
Yeah.
All who have all done things to where their names ring bells, okay? Trust me, okay? Now, my name ring bells, okay?
I'm glad to hear you say it.
So, don't bring people in, because I tell you what, your circle is probably crap compared to his circle.
But the thing is,
you got a stainless steel circle. This is a circle of gold over here.
Platinum.
24 karat platinum, titanium, vibranium, adamantium. All right?
No. But you have to realize is like certain people are trolls. And I'm not saying they're hermits or ugly looking, but they legit are looking for something that they can talk about, tear down. And like I said, when he couldn't get a rise out of me because of like my profession, then he started talking about my circle. But
yeah. And you are correct in the fact that they are trolls, and the thing about it is that because there was such vitriol and everything just built in because of rejection, that and the thing about it is, like, you tell somebody no, and you put a boundary up, they'll they'll act themselves. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. Well, you know what I mean? Oh, okay. They're whatever. They're rabble, stop. And then they act like a troll. That's probably who they are on the inside.
And then here's the messed up part about that, though, because they'll be the person that say, oh, I was talking to Venom and he did this or he did that. And they say, oh, I had a bad experience with somebody. But you don't ever get the full picture of how they were trolling.
Right.
And like, even when I talk, like, I've learned how to say what needs to be said without ruffling feathers, but you'll get my point.
Right.
And it's like, you can't say that, oh, he was disrespectful. He may have made me feel small by using big words, but
right,
I was always respectful, whatever like that. But people like to create these narratives, and a statement that I know, but I heard over this weekend is like, people's perception is their reality. But I'm okay with that because it's not mine.
And your reality, what I say is that your perception is not my reality.
Exactly.
And that's what it is. Moral of the story, right? Calm down. All right. So, on to the drag race.
All right. So, for those of you who did not watch last week's episode, we were down to our top 4. And at the beginning of the episode, Rue told them somebody would be going home at the end of the night. There would not be a top 4. There would be a top 3 as they perceived. But the reality was, it was all a joke. It was a bad joke. And it ruffled some feathers. And everyone isn't... there's a lot of people who weren't happy. Even though we're happy that this top 4 is the top 4, Rue did a double Shantae. And we all know that you should have used that double Shantae when it was Anitra and Marsha.
Right.
And she didn't. She eliminated Marsha.
Right.
So now we're at the top 4. We're expecting that there's going to be a top 3, but the top 4 did their music video, which OMG.
Yep. So the main challenge was the music video, where they were in the video for RuPaul's song "Blame It on the Edit." Okay, which is very, very poignant to the season.
Definitely
even though
is.
during the reunion, which we'll get into, folks who we thought were going to say "Blame It on the Edit,"
actually took a little responsibility.
They kind of owned up to it and put a little bit on the edit, but not totally.
Right.
So, kudos to them. We'll get into that. But it was a great video shoot, in my opinion.
I will say that they all did a good job, but to me, Sasha and Lux really sold it.
Yeah.
Like, they really sold it in this competition. And the music. And again, they all did good. Like, Anitra and Mistress did an amazing job. But again, we know at a certain point in the competition, good isn't good enough.
Right. Yeah, no, and yeah, it was definitely, Sasha and Lux were definitely, star quality on that video. Not saying that Anitra isn't star quality. Everyone knows that I am Team Anitra. But I could call a spade, and I'm glad you said see that. What I can see. I have
a question for you.
But yeah, she wasn't as strong in the video as Sasha or Lux. And Mistress, I thought I thought she looked great, but she just wasn't
with the choreography. Yeah. Now here's the twist that I don't think we talked about enough. Is the fact that they learned the choreography, and literally right after learning the choreography, which they were still kind of shaky, they said, okay, now we're going to start recording the video. Like, there was no 10 rehearsals or sleep on it and come back. They legitimately learned it and started filming right then and there. And for that to have been the case, I give all of them kudos. But it still shows who the weaker ones were in that situation.
Yep. So, and the runway was drag eleganza, or it's a drag excellence or something like that. And so basically their best drag, in other words. And the runway, I thought that Sasha looked absolutely amazing on the runway. It was just stunning. Like, and I thought that she by far won the runway. She won the runway,
I have this thing about Sasha that makes me think about Lucy. Sasha is not generic, but she is
so polished that it seems regular.
Yes, and I've kind of been saying this the entire season.
Mm-hmm.
And there is no doubt that she's every drag queen's favorite drag queen. There's no doubt that she knows what the hell she's doing and she does it well. There's no doubt that she's stunning and talented and thoughtful and like she is the package. But the question I really, 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 really want to ask you specifically is, who do you want to win?
Who do I want to win?
Yes.
It is. And the crazy thing is, I want either Sasha or Anitra to win.
Right, but there can only be one.
If one of them wins, then I'm okay.
If either of the four win, to be
I
honest
am.
with you,
I
okay.
would. Well, no, because no.
I'm saying that I would be okay if either of the four were to win. I would be perfectly fine with that. That's me.
Okay, that's you. Me, it's only between Sasha and Anitra. Like, it's the crown is only between those two. Like if they pull out some shenanigans and some stuff on the finale that one of them makes it or does better than the other, by all means. But right now, looking at the race, it's an Anitra and Sasha race. And in my and who I like, if I had to pick one, I am an Anitra fan. I love Anitra. I think Anitra's great, so I would want to see Anitra win. In part because I feel like Sasha easily can win an All-Star season. Like,
yeah,
I don't like, there isn't anyone.
Do you feel that Anitra wouldn't be able to win an All-Star season?
I feel like Anitra would be, especially depending upon the challenge, would be prone to slip up. And because of the fact that she was so strong during the season, again, in All Stars, regular All Stars, the queens vote to send the person home.
That's true.
I feel like Anitra would be a target out of the gate,
That's true
because she is so formidable. The same would go with Sasha, but do I think Sasha would put herself in a position to be, one of the lip syncs, one of the lipsticks under consideration? No.
This is why I want Anitra to win, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Flat, point blank, period, flat out. But I think it would be really interesting for Anitra to have to win so that we can see Sasha in an All-Star.
Yeah, no.
Because I would love to see her against some of the legendary Drag Race alumni.
Yeah, especially now that they're bringing in, folks from Canada and UK and stuff over into the All-Star seasons here. I mean, her against, Bag of Chips would be awesome. Like there are, like I don't like, I don't really, but all the drag queens that I would want to see her go up against, like Raven, Jujubee,
that's what I'm saying.
Manila,
like
so those, they all did it and they're not coming back. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
but if she wins this season, which more than likely she will,
mm-hmm.
then we won't get an opportunity to see that until there's like a Queen of All Queens again.
Right.
And I don't expect that for like another 12, 13 years.
Yeah, if it's still going.
Right.
Then, yeah.
So we may not even get that.
Another all-winner season. Yeah, another all-winners All-Stars. Yeah, no, then that's the greatness of that season right there, is because
we may
never get that again, where we'll have all, winners and stuff. So yeah, like I like I said, I think like when who beat Chad Michaels that season? Was it? It wasn't Tyra. It wasn't Tyra Sanchez. That was, I think that was the next season. And who was that? Was that Jinx?
The third or fourth season.
Was that Jinx's season?
I don't remember that being Jinx.
Or was that Raja's season? Might have been Raja's season with Chad Michaels in there.
Hmm.
But there, like, that first All Stars was definitely a redo for Chad Michaels. Like I think that once it started, we all kind of knew that Chad Michaels was gonna win that All Stars crown. Especially the way that they had the show set up. But
season 4.
Season 4, and who won that one?
He was a runner-up for season 4.
Was it Sharon Needles? It was Sharon Needles. Yep, Sharon Needles won that season. So and Sharon deserved it. Sharon deserved it. Like she deserved it. You know. And so, but also Chad deserved it. But Sharon was the hot hand.
Right.
So Sharon deserved it. It's kind of like WWE. You give the title to the person who's gonna bring the most heat. And the fan reaction.
Yeah.
So and then the All-Star season came right after, so it was like, hey Chad, here's your crown. And Chad deserves it. Like, not taking anything away from
Right.
Chad Michaels. Chad Michaels deserves a crown. But I think that Sasha is definitely on the Chad Michaels level. Like, where if she doesn't win the crown on her season of Drag Race, they need to get her on an All-Star season, set it up to be a coordination for, you know what I mean, like they did with Chad Michaels, and everything. So yeah, and especially like, with the rumored All-Star cast and stuff like that, please. Like Naysha Lopez, like Naysha, you doing great on the Roscoe's hosting thing. You're doing great. Like that doesn't make me want to see you again. You know what I mean? Like I want to see Sasha again. You know, so bring her back, All Stars. I want to see Marsha again.
To be honest,
bring her back, All Stars.
Bring Irene back.
Yeah, bring Irene back. I want to see what Irene can do.
Please.
So yeah, like,
and yeah, so I feel like Anitra has to win. Because that's the only way we're gonna get more of Sasha, and I kind of feel like we want more of Sasha.
Yeah,
and it's not that we won't get it because she's gonna go on tour and she's gonna be this glamazon. I get that, but on RuPaul's Drag Race, I want to see somebody give her a real run for her money. Honestly,
yeah, and I think that can happen on All Stars, especially depending upon who they decide to bring back. I know that Bob the Drag Queen has said that that they were very much feeling some type of way that they didn't get an invite to All Winners. Even though even though in my opinion they didn't need it.
Right.
There are certain queens who have won Drag Race that don't need it. That didn't need to come back on this All Winners. Chad Michaels did not need to come back on the All Winners. All right. Bianca Del Rio did not need to come back for All Winners. I would even go as far as it said Raja would not have needed to come back, for an All Winners, but Raja wanted to.
I mean,
I'm not mad at it.
To be honest, Jinx didn't have to come back.
Jinx, no.
Jinx
didn't have to come back. Jinx didn't have to come back. BB Zahara didn't come back, even though I think that she warranted a shot to come back during the All Winner season.
Well, didn't she do?
She did do an All-Star season, and I thought that was a mistake by Ru.
She was the first person.
She's the first winner to come back.
All-Star,
yeah. Now, I think that she should have got an invite.
Yeah.
Did she get an invite and say no? Who knows?
Right.
But I think that she definitely should have got an invite to the All Winner season. Aquaria didn't come back, who I think should have, in my opinion. I would have loved to have seen Aquaria compete and everything. She makes me mad because she always claiming New York. You are a Philly drag queen. All right. Let's see. Violet didn't come back. But there's probably drama with that as far as with her World of Wonder and everything.
Right.
Simone didn't come back.
I doubt it will ever happen.
Yeah.
But it would be real interesting if Tyra and Ru would reconcile and give us a Tyra on something.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see that.
Yeah. I would love to see her come back, especially on the All-Star season.
Right.
and everything. If y'all get her to compete with Sasha Colby, you know, Sasha Velour did not come back. She didn't need to. Sasha is probably the second most successful behind Bianca and Jinx, because I would say Bianca and Jinx are like, you know, right there right now as the two, the two, top, you know, top, you know, winners. Yeah,
popular. Yeah,
but Sasha has, you know, fluctuated between 2 and 3, like, and she's staying up there because her Broadway, you know, tour and everything else like that is popping right now. Like, so, like, you know, kudos to her, but she didn't need to come back, you know. So there were a bunch of queens who, you know, didn't come back, who you know, they could probably entice to come back to compete with Sasha
too. Like the runner-ups to like some of these winners, like when you put all the winners together and you see like, okay, now you're with the best of the best.
Yeah,
did you really deserve that win?
Yeah, like they think they're like Bianca Del Rio beat Adore Delano.
I know, right?
Courtney Act,
Ben de la Creme.
Like,
yeah,
like these are some powerhouses. All right.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not like, you know, Derek Barry, who became a powerhouse over time, right. You know, but like these were some, you know, juggernauts already, you know, and it's like those folks, you know, I would love to see come back and stuff like that.
Like even if you did a runners-up season, I would love a runners-up. Like, bring. I'm not even gonna go down the list, but I just think that would be a good thing. We're spending all this time about all these other drag queens. Let's get into the girls season 15.
So the top 4. All right. The top 4 we have. So basically, it was a double Shantae for that. For the music video challenge, Anitra and Mistress were the bottom 2. Sasha won, which makes her a 4-time winner on Drag Race. I believe she is the first queen to win 4 maxi challenges on one season. Correct us in the comments if we are wrong.
Yeah, please correct us.
Please. But you know, that's a lot of challenges to win during one season. Then we have so her and Lux were the top 2. Oh yeah.
I thought about Aura's win that she did not deserve.
Yeah, no, Sasha should have won that week. Like in my opinion, Sasha should have won that week. I feel
like there's a lot of times Sasha's been winning just on like not principle, but on the fact of who she is. And I've been saying this.
I rewatched that episode, like just because I knew that this would come up. I rewatched that episode, and that episode, objectively looking at it, Sasha was the best performer out of everyone, besides like, you know, Marsha and Mistress in that country group, or besides the whole country group. It was Sasha, the entire country group, and then, you know, pick whatever else from there. Like, you know, but those were the best ones.
I'm gonna go back and watch it myself now so that I can see for myself, because
her lyrics were funny.
Well, you know, when we do our reviews, we base it off of like, if there was a mini challenge, how'd you do in that? How do you do in your maxi challenge?
There was no mini challenge that week.
Right now, we like then your runway.
Real friends of WeHo.
Everyone hated that show.
I hope it dies.
Everyone hated that show. But anyway, like we base it off of like their performance, their runway, their look, their makeup. Like we look at all of that stuff, and then we take into the statistics or whatever like that. And that's why I really want to like look at who the top queens were per week when Sasha won. And can we definitively say that without a shadow, like I'm taking you to court, can you say without reasonable doubt that she won and this person wasn't really like better than her based on all the facts? Because I feel like there's been a couple of times she slipped through with a win. I mean, there's 4, but still. So I really do believe, just like I feel like it's assumed or it's presumed that because she is who she is, she has to win.
Some circles, I don't necessarily feel that. I just genuinely believe that she dominated. Like she just dominated the competition in during the challenges. She understood the assignment.
But here's my point. It's like RuPaul saying, all right, y'all, I'm not going to be a judge or a host of the season. This season, I'm going to compete with you. how Sasha Colby is coming in from a shooting star to compete with a lot of people who, in most cases, there were a lot of amateurs or first timers.
Well, you gotta
And
understand.
Rue understood who she was putting
With
together.
these TikTok queens, they coming in with millions of followers.
I get it, but in a competition like this, like, yeah, I'm getting Rue's benefiting, World of Wonder's benefiting because they're getting the views, they're getting the ratings that they need. But like, how fair is it really when you already have someone who is a superstar competing against amateurs?
But how fair is it that you have this superstar like Sasha Colby, who, might not have had, who might have had at the most like 57,000 followers before this, compared to Sugar and Spice with their like 1.3 million walking in the door, Lux with her, almost a million followers walking in the door, Amethyst with her, million followers walking in the door. Like,
right, but it's so again, the business side of it, it benefits World of Wonder, it benefits Rue. They're getting the views. They want, but the competition side of it, what you actually get to see the girls doing. Yeah, I got the views, but you know damn well that these girls do not have the experience or the true girth.
But they have. But the thing of
Sasha Colby,
I get it. But they have. But the thing about it is that they have fans who believe, you know what I mean, who believe that they are good enough. Hence why they have that following, and that warrants them a seat at the table. You know what I mean? Or at least like what I say, a horse in the race.
I absolutely agree with that. What I'm saying is, Sasha Colby,
I think we're saying the same thing, but it's different levels.
I think Sasha Colby could very well, even before this season, have just been a guest judge on the show.
Yeah, but she wanted to compete. And the thing about it is, hey, there have been plenty of times in my lifetime, where I had to compete against people who were bigger than me. Like, kid you not, had to line up and block freaking, he was what, like 6'5", almost like 280 something, just solid muscle middle linebacker. When in college, a little freshman scrawnier than this, and like, I had to go block him. Nice. Who cares? I had to do it. It's competition, Same deal. Sasha Colby walked through the door. Oh my gosh, I've been doing drag for like, for like a year and a half, but I got 1 million followers. Sasha Colby walked through the door. All right, let's bring it. That's competition, because it's a competition. Yeah. You gotta be. That's the thing. You know what you're signing up for. Like, these baby drag queens knew what they were signing up for. Yeah. That they could very well that Miss Continental 2023 could very well walk through the door. You know what I mean? And just so happened, Miss Continental happened to walk through the door. So you got to deal with it. You got to deal with it, because that's just competition. We're competing against people. Yeah. So hey,
I mean, the definite pros to this is the amateurs or the newbies are definitely sharpening their iron from this. There's no way in the world you're going to be amongst this particular group of
iron sharpens iron, diamond cuts diamonds. Yeah. All right. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that you got to do to get better.
So they definitely were set up this season to like shine. Like in the reunion, watching Sugar and Spice was actually kind of fun for me, because they are considered like I think Lux is the youngest. Yeah. But they are like still very
the baby drag queens.
Yeah, they're baby drag queens. But like, you can see their growth. You can see how they've evolved. When you look at Marsha with her makeup, you can tell that she was always intentional, but she's dragged it up more, and you see the intent behind that. I mean, not that you couldn't get it, but she keeps her aesthetic, but she dragged it up a smidge.
Right.
Irene Dubois. I wanted to talk about Irene because I am not a fan, but I want to be.
I love her looks.
Exactly.
Irene's looks
She's out
are
the box.
stunning.
And you know, so
kudos to you, Irene. I like you.
That's who I want to come back in an All-Star season.
I would love to see Irene Dubois come back. I would love to see Irene Dubois get like they gave Shangela a freaking redo.
Or Eureka.
Yeah, well, Eureka was an injury, John. You know, I get that. But yeah, no.
3 times?
All-Star. She came back on an All-Star. She came back twice on, she competed regular season twice and then an All-Star. So yeah. And Shangela did the same thing. And did not win because of the Queens. But like, yeah, I feel like I definitely feel like Irene Dubois would deserve, if anyone on this season deserves a ticket to another season, Irene Dubois would be my pick to come back, you know,
I feel
and
like
compete.
The girls who really had the oomph to show us, they got the opportunity. The weaker ones, not so much, but they, you know, I think that Irene,
and some weak ones we saw entirely too much of. Or
there's no way. I know if I was Irene, I'd be feeling some type of way. The fact that Aura and Jax made it further than she did.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and no shade, but y'all just wasn't it.
Y'all are not it.
So, you know, I feel like,
or outside of drag, you are it. But no, I'm just not a fan. I'm sorry.
And you know, even in the reunion, she gave us the same look in a different color. Like Aura, we've been saying
that same slick back Sindel hair.
Yes,
you know,
yes. I just, you know, you're just not giving what needs to be given.
And Jax was, you know, discount Monet.
First off,
dollar store Monet.
I didn't even know who Jax was at first. Like I know all the girls that was on the season. I could not readily identify Jax. Like, I think they had to point out that it was Jax. Even, and you know, in the intro they did the Housewives introduction, and I still did not identify Jax. So that's kind of bad.
Yeah, that's bad. They're bad. But yeah, so top 4: Sasha Colby, 4 wins going into the finals. All right.
We have Anitra.
3 wins going into the finals. All right. The her and Sasha are the only 2 queens this season to win back-to-back.
Yes.
All right. Then we have Lux with 2 challenge wins this season. All right. One is a share challenge win. All right. With Lucy LaDuca. Then we have Mistress. All right. With 1 challenge win. All right. But you could say that Mistress could have won probably 2 to 3 challenges this season. She was up there. All right. And that's the thing that I do like about Mistress, is because Mistress is a scrapper. Like, she is scrapping. I would love for RuPaul to do, you know, I feel bad about it, but like a big girl All-Stars.
I can understand why you feel bad about it, because we need to get a big girl winner.
Yeah.
And it's like, it seems like the only way you're going to give it to us is if we have an entire season of big girls.
Right. And you know, because I would love to see Mistress compete against, you know, Latrice and Ginge and, you know, Jiggly, you know.
Yes.
Like heck, bring Pork Chop back, you know. I think Pork Chop's retired, but
yeah, you know. I hope.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think. But no, you do understand how long ago that has been.
Yeah, Stacey Lynn Matthews.
Like, how long ago RuPaul's Drag Race has been on.
Yo could even bring back Silk and Nutmeg Ganache, even though no one wants it.
I wouldn't mind. She's annoying, but I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, the only good thing about Silk and Nutmeg Ganache was that Barbie girl lip sync where she just lip synced by herself and stuff.
I was just watching that.
That was awesome.
Oh,
that was awesome. But yeah, so I definitely would say that my pick.
Keep going.
I'm gonna give good gravy. Wow, that was amazing. Still turning the corner. Oh, but yeah, my I would say that my pick again. I want Anitra to win. Do I think Anitra is going to win? I don't know. In part because that first lip sync where it was in the lip sync Lollapalooza, which should have been the first double Shantae of the season. All right, there should have been two. There should have been two double Shantaes this season, Rue. Hope you're watching. All right. Because Anitra and Sasha, they both should have won that. It would have removed the three-way lip sync bullcrap that Lux somehow won. It would have been just it would have been Jax versus Anitra. Lux or
Well, no, because Anitra would have won. You're right.
So it would have
been Jax versus Spice.
Yeah, would have been Jax versus, because who was it? It was three of them, right? It was Jax, Lux,
and
Anitra. Yeah. So it just would have been Jax versus Lux.
Yeah.
It would not have been that cluster. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, that should have been the first one. The second one should have been Anitra and Marsha. That should have been a double Shantae. But I think that that first win for Sasha kind of has her confidence up, to where she will definitely be able to stand toe to toe with Anitra. I think that Sasha is a student of the game. She's had time,
teacher of the game at this point,
right? But she's also a student of the game. She's a student first, and you never lose that. And the thing about it is, like, she's had time to see, and Anitra has lip synced once, twice, 4 times.
Probably about 4 times.
4 times this season. All right. Now, I get it. Anitra is a wild card bag of tricks. You know what I mean? You don't know. And especially because she's had time to figure out some new tricks, you know what I mean? And everything before this finale, or between the finale and the last challenge, because the finale's already been recorded.
So it's interesting because I'm thinking about it. Anitra has been in the bottom more than any of the other girls.
Mm-hmm.
That's in the top 4.
Right.
But she's one of the strongest competitors.
Yeah,
it's crazy how one of the strongest could end up in the bottom so many times.
Right. But yeah, I just think that Sasha might have it, because she's going to watch film. She's going to study Anitra, her biggest competition. She knows Anitra is her biggest competition right now.
She does.
And I'm pretty sure she's going to study and have some shenanigans, for that lip sync between the two of them. Spoiler, there was leaks that those two are going to be the final 2.
I mean, is that really a spoiler though?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
That those two are going to be, I know, but to some people it is, that those two are going to be the final 2 because of photos and stuff like that was leaked from the taping of the finale. But yeah, I do think that it's Sasha's crown. But I would be ecstatic to see Anitra win, and it would be well deserved.
They talk about how, the whole blame on the edit, and people say there's predetermined winners and stuff like that. Like, Rue knows who she wants to win, because at the end of the day, we can do all the calculations and statistics as we like. It's still at the end of the day up to Rue to make the decision.
Right. It is a TV show first, and then a competition second.
Yeah. So it's up to RuPaul to say, you know what, I want this person to win. Just because I just like this person. It could be that way. I would say in most cases, making it up to the top 2 is mostly fair for the most part. So those girls actually earn it. But at the end of the day, again, who Rue chooses to send home and who she chooses to crown a winner is what gives us the material to say that this person is won for. Because, I mean, in multiple competitions, any of these girls could have taken any of these wins. So it's really okay, it comes down to pinching at whatever to pull a winner. And Rue just happened to go with Sasha. So that's the point I'm making. It could go either way.
Yeah, it could.
It really could, because Anitra would be the underdog story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So let us know in the comments who you think is going to win. We're so excited to wrap up the season of Drag Race.
I always hate to the end of it.
We're at the end of another season of Drag Race, and what do you think? Season 15, was it the biggest season of RuPaul's Drag Race ever? Do you think that it was one of the best seasons?
One of the most entertaining seasons. I will say that. Is it the best? I don't know, because season 6 again gave his Bender Le Creme Courtney Act, Adore Delano, Bianca Del Rio, and a couple other of my favorites. Like one of my personal friends was on that season, so I'm always going to be biased to that season. But then we've had other great seasons, and I just think each season is better. But there will never be a season as good as All Stars, All Winners.
Yeah,
never.
right.
Like literally every competition, you got a great show.
Yes.
Now, season 15 definitely had the best musical.
Yes, best musical of all time.
In
season
history.
15. Yes.
This music video is one of my favorite music videos ever. I don't know. It was just so. Most of the stuff right now is relevant too.
Yeah.
It's not just I'm just going to say this because we need a thing to pull from. Like the stuff is so relevant.
I would say that it definitely was one of the most entertaining seasons.
Yeah.
I think that outside factors, and I think that hopefully RuPaul takes account of this, and everything, like with the Real Friends of WeHo. RuPaul don't definitely should be like, don't touch my stuff.
At
you
all.
Figure it out where to fit them in. Don't touch my stuff.
I think the message was clear to MTV, Viacom, or whoever else, that us gays like our drag race.
Yeah.
Don't mess with it.
Yeah, we don't want to see gay housewives.
And no, we want our drag race. And let this also be a notice to those people who are trying to abolish, who are trying to ban, make it illegal to entertain with the freedom of speech.
Right.
That, this is a very strong community and we speak up for what we want. And I think, unfortunately, there is still racism within this community, but I think because it just spans such a broad gamut, we do come together and we do get shit done.
And we'll be discussing a lot of these issues. We already touched on the drag bills and stuff like that, that are violating people's First Amendment rights.
Yeah.
To free speech and freedom of expression. So we'll talk about, we'll revisit those. We'll revisit some racial things that have happened in politics.
Yeah, because there was other things that we were talking about.
Stuff,
the drag race is about to be over. We got one more episode, and that's the finale.
The finale, and we're going to talk about that next episode. But it's not going to be the whole episode, so we're going to have other things to talk about next week.
We'll be introducing some more topics and conversations, opposed to just because we're always going to do our reviews, but we're going to introduce some other conversations to the show again.
And if you need something like to if you're entertaining folks and you want a conversation starter, well, look no further than right here. Yeah, right here is a conversation starter. I'm talking about this book.
A Life of Lust, Memoirs of the Porn Star, was penned by myself. And in this story, I write about my experiences in life. I write about a lot of my mishaps, but there's a lot of fun moments as well, like parties and trips and relationships and encounters and entanglements and all types of crap in this book. But it's fun. It's also spiritual because, it's Easter. So you get your spirituality in here too, my preaching and all that good stuff. It's, it's a good read. Let's just say that. It's a good read. And you can easily get your copy by going right down here, KevynM.com. Purchase your copy of A Life of Lust right now.
Yes, it's a great book. Over 500 copies have already sold. Get you a copy now.
Outside of that, Stoney, is there anything else you want to tell the people?
Thank y'all for coming. God bless you. Good night.